CinemaCon 2023 wrapped up this past weekend in Las Vegas, and if you are a movie fan or a cinephile, we've been eating good this past week. A lot of new announcements, a lot of updates on upcoming movies, and a ton of banger trailers. We're going to get into all that and more on this week's episode of Watch and Play. Welcome to Watch and Play, the weekly show here on the bctalks channel, where we go over all of the movie, TV, streaming, and gaming news that came out the past week. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this past week was CinemaCon 2023 in Las Vegas. And if you're not familiar with CinemaCon, it is a convention that's held every year in Las Vegas where the movie studios and executives basically show off what they're going to be showing in the theaters or what they've been creating to the movie theater owners, and it's basically a pitch to them to get them excited for the year and their upcoming projects. So the everybody knows the big theaters like AMC, Regal, Cinemark, but there are a lot of theaters around the country that are smaller chains, mom and pops, theater chains like that they can't afford to show every movie in their theater. Some places might horror movies might not play well in their city, and then other places maybe I don't know where this would be, but maybe people don't like Marvel movies there, so they don't get a lot of turnout. And showing a Marvel movie would be a big cost to them. So at CinemaCon, the theater owners, large and small, they all go to see what is coming out this upcoming slate for all of the movie studios, or at least the big movie studios. Warner Brothers, Sony, Paramount, big studios like that. They go and see what they've got on the slate, and the studios are basically, the studios want them to show everything. And the big theaters like AMC, Regal, Cinemark, they're for the most part going to show everything, but it's really a pitch to those smaller or mid-sized theater chains to try to get them to show their movies in the theaters, because without the movies being shown in the theaters, the studios don't make money. Streaming is great and all, but it doesn't make these studios a lot of money. Actually, as you may or may not know, Disney lost billions of dollars the past few years with Disney Plus because it costs a lot to make all of the high quality things they got on Disney Plus, and the returns are not always as great. So that's just a brief overview of what CinemaCon is if you aren't aware. We're going to go ahead and get into the episode. But before we do, I wanted to remind y'all that, again, this was the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So they're showing Return of the Jedi in the theaters this week. I went and saw it on Sunday, and the theater was packed. There was no room, completely sold out. I was very surprised. I mean, I know Star Wars is really popular, and Return of the Jedi is, I think, overwhelmingly considered the best Star Wars movie. I think I would have to agree with that. I also really like Revenge of the Sith, but I think Return of the Jedi is a more well-made movie. But I do like Return or Revenge of the Sith as well, which is episode 3 in the prequels. But yeah, Return of the Jedi showed in the theaters. I saw it Sunday. Still plays. Everybody loved. Everybody was cracking up at all the C-3PO and R2-D2. Goings on, everything they get into in that movie. They're really, R2-D2 is kind of like, he's always down. I said this before, but R2-D2 is a rider. If you need somebody and you're in a tough spot, R2-D2 is there for you. He saves them more than once. You forget. And then, of course, in the sequels, they kind of just threw a cover over R2-D2. And so, which was kind of sad to see, because he's kind of the MVP, other than Luke, of course, and Darth Vader of the original trilogy. But yeah, packed theater. It was really cool to see everybody turn out for the 40th anniversary of um, Return of the Jedi. I'm not sure how long it's going to be playing in the theaters, but if you want to see it on the big screen, if you're a younger Star Wars fan, younger, I'm turning 29 this year, so if if you were not around in the 80s, or and then and you didn't get to see it in the theaters or in any of the other re-releases, then go out and to the theater and check it out. It was a really fun experience, especially with a packed theater and to have everybody's reactions. That's one of the great things about movies is that it's kind of a communal experience. And that was kind of one of the big highlights of CinemaCon, bringing it back to CinemaCon, was that movies are kind of that communal experience. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get into everything CinemaCon this past weekend. So I'm gonna split this up into releases based on the studios, and the first one we're gonna talk about here today is Warner Brothers, and because they have probably the most anticipated and controversial movie that's coming out this year, The Flash. That's coming out on June 16th. So we're coming up on it here, just a couple more months, and a lot of people are looking forward to this movie. It's got a lot of controversy with everything that Ezra Miller was getting themselves into. Um, and but you know, I'm still excited to see the movie because Andy Muschietti and his crew and everybody that worked on it put a lot of work into it. So despite everything that Ezra Miller did, and I'm sure that they won't be returning as the Flash, I think even if this movie, well, I do think the movie is going to make over $1 billion. But even if this movie, did like some crazy astronomical number, I know money talks, but goodness, to bring Ezra Miller back after everything they did, I'm not sure how that would go over with, a lot of the fans. Um, I don't know if James Gunn is down for that, especially starting off his new DC universe with so much controversy. I don't know if he wants to get into that, but money does talk. So we've seen crazier things happen, but either way, like I said, The Flash is coming out June 16th. Directed by Andy Muschietti, starring Ezra Miller as the Flash, and everybody's favorite Michael Keaton is returning. From the 1989 Batman movie, and the sequel, the follow up, of course. Um, and They released a trailer this at CinemaCon. Well, they released a trailer to the public, and then at CinemaCon they actually screened the entire movie, minus the credits and post credit scenes, to the patrons at CinemaCon. And man, I wish I was there because I'm really excited for this movie. As y'all may know, if you've watched some of our comic book talk here on the BC Talks channel, I am a big Justice League, well, DC fan in general, but particularly the Justice League. And so, to see a different version of Michael Keaton, we're getting Michael Keaton's Batman. We're getting wow, Ben Affleck's Batman. His name escaped me there for a second. Ben Affleck's Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman. We're getting two versions of the Flash. We're getting Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle, who looks amazing in that suit, by the way. We're getting General Zod is back, and probably, I'm sure, many other characters in the Snyderverse will be coming back, and maybe some not in the Snyderverse. There are some rumors that there may be some other characters um, popping up. I know everybody is waiting with bated breath to see if Henry Cavill Superman's going to come up. There haven't been any spoilers or anything that would suggest that. And I'm going to try to avoid as many spoilers as I can going into this movie because I really want to, those surprises to hit. So I'm probably not going to talk about the Flash that much on the channel, especially if there are more rumors or any spoilers come out, just because I'm going to try to avoid those myself, um, and so I can, be surprised when the movie comes out. Yeah, the movie, the whole entire movie minus the post credit scenes and the credits screened at Warner Brothers at the Warner Brothers panel at CinemaCon, and from all accounts from CinemaCon, before this came out, a lot of people were saying, Tom Cruise said he requested to see the movie, and he said, this is the greatest movie he's seen, the greatest superhero movie he's ever seen. A lot of people were saying this is the greatest superhero movie ever made. According to boots on the ground at CinemaCon, this is not the greatest superhero movie ever made, but it is really, really good. Apparently, it's got a lot of heart, really well directed. Andy Muschietti knocked it out the park, which makes me excited for his Brave and the Bold movie that he's going to be directing, because by all accounts, this movie's great. And so to see him directing a Batman movie, that's going to be pretty dope. So yeah, and the trailer that we got to see, the public, that was released, was pretty cool as well. We got to see a more extended look at Batman. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. He said that iconic line from the movie. Um, we got to see a better, more look at Bruce on his little motorcycle. We got to see the two Flashes, Sasha Kale as Supergirl. So, there's not much more they can do to get me more excited for this movie. I'm already as excited as you can be. So, yeah, that is The Flash. And now, let's see here. We got the Blue Beetle movie, which, as we know, a trailer came out from that for that. What is that? A couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now. Uh, Warner Brothers also showed some footage for the Blue Beetle movie, which is coming out August 18th. They got some exclusive footage. The people at CinemaCon, they also got some footage. They got an extended first look of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is the follow up to the Jason Momoa Aquaman movie. That one's coming out December 20th. And apparently, they saw Black Manta, who is played by Yahya Abdul Mateen. He was armed with the ancient black trident, so that's going to be interesting to see. And apparently, well, they weren't going to. A lot of people were suggesting that they cut Amber Heard out of the movie and replace her, but I think the movie was way too far into production. It's kind of similar with The Flash, how everything with Ezra Miller came out after the movie was already basically finished. This movie was basically already pretty much finished by the time the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial happened. So they weren't just gonna cut her out and um, replace her. That would have been a lot of work, and probably would have made the film look, the pacing and the of the film kind of suffer for that. So apparently, yeah, Amber Heard um, is apparently she is in the movie, and there's a little spoiler with that. I won't expose y'all to that spoiler, but you can go find it if you look it up. And that movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, is coming out December 20th. And now another movie that they showed an extended look at CinemaCon is one of the ones that I am looking forward to. Barbie. The Barbie movie, they got an extended look at CinemaCon. That one's releasing July 21st. They got a better look at that. And also, apparently, John Cena is in the movie as well. He's going to be Merman Ken. So I guess, a mermaid version of Ken. That's going to be interesting. John Cena in the Barbie movie. That cast is packed, and I think that movie's going to be really weird. And I think it's going to be kind of a deconstruction of a look at society and the human condition. And even if it's bad, we'll still get some great memes from it. So, but moving on, they also got an extended look at Dune Part Two, which is another one I'm really excited about. Man, there's some bangers coming out this year. Dune Part Two coming out November 3rd, and my birthday is November 1st, so that's going to be a nice birthday present there. Um, Dune is really great. I finished I finished the first half of the book before the first one came out. I wanted to read the entire book before the first Dune came out. Um, but it was good because Dune Part 1 was actually basically only the first 100 pages or so of the book. So I have time to read the rest of the book, and because that's what Dune Part Two is going to be based on. So we got to see they got to see Adam Butler as Fade, lovely Fade, Fade Harkonnen, um, the nephew of the Baron, and they also showed Florence Pugh. You know, she's playing Princess Irulan, and they actually entertain. I think it was Entertainment Weekly released after they showed that at CinemaCon. They did release some exclusive photos from the movie, so we got to see Princess Irulan played by Florence Pugh. They showed a silhouette of Adam Butler, you know, who played Elvis in the Oscar-nominated movie from last year. He's got a shaved head now because he's a Harkonnen, and so they got to see Adam Butler. Well, you don't really see him that well in the picture. It's a silhouette from behind of him. And then there was a cool shot of the Baron. Looked like he was hitting a hookah or something. I don't know what he was doing in his little mud bath that he does. I really like the Baron, and he's a really interesting character. And I love the actor that plays him. Really great actor. Um, so that was Dune Part Two again coming out November 3rd. Can't wait for that movie. It is gonna be so great. And a lot of people they criticize the first one, saying that it was slow. If but it's kind of a setup movie, really, which I guess a movie should be good on its own and not good as a setup. But I mean, it's not really a setup. It's kind of I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it still looks good, and I thought it was good. I didn't think it was slow, but I'm a big science fiction fan anyway, so I love movies like that. That's Doom Part Two coming out November 3rd. They also showed a first look at the Wonka movie, which is another movie starring Timothy Chalamet. As you know, he is Paul Atreides in Dune. Dune. He's also playing a younger version of Willy Wonka. It's a prequel to the Gene Wilder Wonka movies, and apparently it's gonna be highlighting his rise to fame as Wonka. And there's some kind of a chocolate cartel that's wants to stop anybody selling, their candy. So basically, it's going to be a prequel of how Willy Wonka became Wonka. And actually, Hugh Grant is going to be playing an Oompa Loompa in that. So that is going to be interesting. Hugh Grant, he's a really great actor. He was just in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, was really funny in that, and so I think him as a Oompa Loompa is going to be really funny to see. They need to get Danny DeVito to play Oompa Loompa as well, not just because he's short, just because because he's hilarious. And imagine a Hugh Grant and Danny DeVito playing off each other. That would be hilarious to see. But that movie's coming out December 15th. And then some other announcements from Warner Brothers. There's a sequel to Beetlejuice, which is currently in development, and they did also show a first look at a The Color Purple, which was the movie starring and created by Oprah, and also Steven Spielberg, and so they're coming back to make. There was a Broadway show, a musical that was adapted from that movie, and so now they're adapting the Broadway musical into a movie. So this isn't going to be like the original movie. It's a movie version of the Broadway musical, which is a musical version of the movie. So that's pretty funny how it's going from movie to musical back to movie. But yeah, so it's going to be more of a musical based on that Broadway show. So they showed extended look at that, and Oprah came out and apparently wowed the crowd. She ran it, yeah, as Oprah does. They also showed a look at Meg to the Trench, and apparently there's a battle between the Meg, which is that giant shark thing. I didn't watch the Meg. Um, it's not my thing, but the giant shark thing and a T Rex. That's interesting. Also, the Nun was showcased at CinemaCon, and then The Conjuring: The Last Rites had a preview as well. So a lot of stuff coming out from Warner Brothers. I think the most exciting things for me is obviously The Flash, Dune Part 2, Barbie, Blue Beetle. That Wonka movie seems pretty interesting as well. And, Timothy Chalamet is a great actor, so that's going to be interesting to see him playing Gene Wilder's, the earlier version of Gene Wilder's Wonka. But a lot of stuff from Warner Brothers. Let me know down in the comments below what you're most looking forward to from Warner Brothers this upcoming year. And now we're going to talk about Walt Disney Studios, the big boy. They had a lot of stuff coming out. So we're going to start off with what's coming out from Marvel. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is coming out soon, actually May 5th, so the end of this week. And don't know if y'all are familiar or not, but May 3rd, there is an IMAX marathon of Guardians of the Galaxy where they're going to be showing all three of the movies back to back to back. So the first Guardians of the Galaxy 1, then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and then the new one is going to screen after that a little bit earlier than the release date. So that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be like 8 hours, and I'm gonna be seeing that. And I saw the tickets. I don't know why, but it's starting at 6:30. So, that's gonna be a good what 7.5, 8 hours. So you're gonna be at the theater until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why they started it at 6:30 and not a little bit earlier, but I guess people um they need time to get off work. I work overnights, and I'm not working that day, thankfully. So I don't. I can see movies during the day, but I guess a lot of people they don't work overnights, so they got to see movies at night. So they got to make it at night, so a lot more people can see it. But still, goodness, 6:30 going to be in the theater all night. But yeah. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that's coming out this week, and they showed an extended scene at the Warner Brothers, Walt Disney panel at CinemaCon. They also showed the Marvels. They showed they released the teaser trailer, which was shown to the attendees, and then obviously that came out. We all saw that teaser trailer. It was really a really good trailer. Got me real excited for the Marvels. That's coming out November 10th. Then we also, or not us, because I didn't go, but at CinemaCon, they got an exclusive look at Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the new Indiana Jones movie, which is coming out June 30th. So they got an extended look at that. I believe it was kind of a chase scene, if I'm not mistaken. There's also some news about the upcoming animated film from Disney, starring Chris Pine, I believe it is, called Wish. And a trailer actually did come out a little bit after that. I haven't watched the trailer yet, but apparently it's really good. A lot of people um, have been praising that. That movie's coming out November 22nd. New animated movie from Disney. Also, The Little Mermaid. This one was interesting. So, Melissa McCarthy came out at CinemaCon, and they showed some of the footage from her singing "Poor Unfortunate Souls." Um, and again, that was coming out May 26th, so coming up here in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I guess. And they actually after that, some pictures were released of the some character posters, and kind of got the internet in a stir a little bit. The pictures, I'm not gonna lie, those pictures of Flounder and also Scuttle as well, the little bird. They were not looking too great. I think they're a little bit too realistic looking. Um, they probably could have. I don't know. I don't know. They just look weird. A lot of people have been echoing that sentiment that I don't know, I guess they just look too real. But yeah, so you can find those online. You know, let me know what y'all think about those pictures. They do look weird. But again, that movie's coming out here in a few weeks, May 26th. And then they also showed a clip of Haunted Mansion, the new Haunted Mansion movie, based on the ride at Disney World that is coming out. There was a Haunted Mansion movie, I get probably a couple decades ago now, with Eddie Murphy. But this one is a new one. I guess it's going to be more based on the ride, and it is coming out July 28th. They also showed the first 20 minutes of Elemental, which is the new Pixar movie, which actually looks really cool. And they did release a trailer as well. Um, and that's coming out June 16th. That looks really cool, the Elemental movie. There, but that was the Pixar movie. There's also a Haunting in Venice. They showed a trailer for that movie. That one's coming out September 15th. Also, Gareth Edwards' movie The Creator got an exclusive first look. That one starring John David Washington and Gemma Chan, which takes place in a dystopian future. So, that's my jam. I love me a dystopian future. So I will definitely be looking forward to that movie. And then also Taika Waititi's, next feel good movie starring Michael Fassbender, Next Goal Wins. They got a trailer, and they showed a trailer of that, and that is releasing November 17th. So a lot of um, releases from Disney. Obviously the one I'm most excited for, which is coming up here in a couple days, is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm also really excited for the Marvels. Wish looks good. Indiana Jones, the new movie, looks great. The Little Mermaid is going to be great. Really, Disney's just releasing a lot of bangers this year. But let me know what y'all are most excited for down in the comments below from Disney. And let me know if you're going to be going to the IMAX marathon and being in the theater until 4 o'clock in the morning. Moving on here, Sony is the next one we're going to talk about. Sony Pictures. They had a lot of cool announcements. One of their bigger ones at CinemaCon was Craven the Hunter. As y'all know, Craven the Hunter, he is a Spider-Man villain. Um, and Sony's been doing this kind of their own villain verse of the Spider Verse over at Sony. As you know, Tom Holland is with Disney. Well, he if you don't know, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man because back in the what was it, the early 2000s, um, Marvel, the company, was going bankrupt because superhero movies. Well, was it the early 2000s or 90s? I can't remember exactly when, but they were threatened to go bankrupt because you know the movies weren't that great coming out of the 90s, other than Blade. And then, of course, the first Spider Man came out, the Sony Spider Man. Um, so I guess it would have been before that, before the Sony Spider Man with Tobey Maguire. So before that, but so Marvel kind of auctioned off all of their big superheroes, at least their more well-known ones, to the different studios. So Universal got the Hulk, Sony got everything related to Spider-Man. Universal also got Namor, um, and Fox got the X-Men, which is why we got those terrible X-Men Fox movies, other than Days of Future Past and First Class. And the first one I thought was okay, but the other ones are not that great. But yeah, so they kind of auctioned off all their most popular characters to different studios in exchange for money, so they wouldn't go bankrupt. And that's why the first MCU movie was Iron Man, because Iron Man was not really that popular of a character um, before the movie came out. Spider Man, the Hulk, the X Men, they're the big Marvel characters. So they sold the rights to all those, at least to make movies, to the different studios. So Sony, and then over the years, as the MCU kind of got more popular, um, and then when they got acquired by Disney, um, the Disney has slowly been buying back the rights to all of their characters. They got the biggest one was they actually bought the entire Fox, um, Fox, movie division. So they got all the X Men characters back in Fantastic Four. So we're gonna be getting them later. Um, and they were able to make a deal with Universal to where they could show the Hulk in their movies, and they also made that deal with Sony, where they can show Spider-Man in the movies, which we saw him in Civil War for the first time. And but Sony does own the rights to Spider-Man, so they have been making, they made Venom and they made Morbius, which was not that great. But all the Spider-Man related characters they own. So the next one is Kraven the Hunter in this, kind of villain verse they're making, with Morbius and Venom. They're kind of making movies based on the villains or anti-heroes from Spider-Man. And Kraven the Hunter's the next one. It's starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Quicksilver in the Marvel movies. If familiar with those, if you're not familiar with him, there's also the Rhino's going to be in it as well, played by Alessandro Nivola. Um, and the biggest announcement coming from Craven the Hunter was that it's going to be rated R. It's going to be Sony's first rated R movie actually, um, which is interesting. I felt like Carnage probably should have been rated R because it's Carnage and Venom. That's the kind of the nature of that character is rated R, but Craven the Hunter definitely does need to be rated R. So that is going to be the first Sony's first rated R movie, and then as you know, Disney's first rated R movie is going to be the new Deadpool one. But I don't think other than Deadpool, Disney's really going to be delving into rated R. But I think that Sony might get more into the rated R movies with superheroes and villains moving forward. And Craven the Hunter is going to be their first one. That's going to be interesting, and that is releasing October 5th. Also from Sony, they showed a preview of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which releases June 2nd. The Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, the animated movie. Can't wait for that one. That's another one I'm really excited for. We've seen all the trailers. You know about the Spider Verse. Again, that's June 2nd, and they saw a more extended preview of the movie there at CinemaCon. Also, there is a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, or a sequel to Ghostbusters. Um, Afterlife, yeah, and I didn't watch the Ghostbusters. I was never really into Ghostbusters. I think that was a little bit too before my time, but and then I didn't watch the new ones. But apparently the last one was really good. Um, but they're doing a sequel to that. That's coming out in December, and then also the Equalizer franchise. With Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning. Um, they're going to be making a new Equalizer movie. They showed a trailer with that, along with a little bit of footage, and that's coming out September 1st. Also, Bad Boys 4 with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence came out at CinemaCon, and they showed some footage of Bad Boys 4. And there's also a Gran Turismo movie, which is interesting. The movie is going to starring Archie Madekwe, who is he's going to be. It's actually kind of it's based on a real story of a gamer who played the Gran Turismo games. He got into competitions, and he actually became a professional race driver. I didn't really know about this before the hearing about the movie, but that's coming out in August 11th. So that seems interesting. When they first announced it, I heard it was a Gran Turismo movie. I thought it was going to be more like Fast and Furious, just like cars racing. But apparently it's based on a true story. So that's going to be interesting to see. Also, Ridley Scott's Napoleon movie. They showed some footage of that, extended scene from that movie, and apparently it was really good. That's another one I'm looking forward to. That's releasing November 22nd, and it stars Joaquin Phoenix, who is a great actor. So that's going to be cool to see. They're also, as you may or may not know, making a movie about the GameStop pump and dump that was from Reddit. That the stock pump and dump that Reddit did with the GameStop stock that kind of shook up the stock market. I participated in that a little bit. Not that I didn't, wasn't spending a whole lot of money. I got in probably what maybe 3 days after the really big one happened. So I kind of caught the a little bit before the end, and I do wish I put a little bit more money in there because I did make a little bit of money, but not as much as crazy money that these people did. And so Paul Dano's going to be playing a YouTuber who put his life savings into it. So that's going to be interesting. Um, and then releasing October 20th, and then also Insidious: The Red Door got a trailer, and that movie's releasing July 7th. So out of all the Sony Pictures announcements, I think the one I'm most excited for is probably obviously Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But Craven the Hunter, sounds really interesting, especially since it's going to be rated R. That's going to be um, interesting as well. Um, but let me know what y'all think about the Sony releases down in the comments below. What are y'all looking forward to from Sony Pictures? Next up, we got Universal Pictures. They have a few really good movies coming out, and the first one that they showed was Oppenheimer. That's the new Christopher Nolan movie, based on the guy who created the atomic bomb, Robert Oppenheimer. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. That quote that he famously said after creating the atomic bomb. And there's been a lot of memes coming from that movie, which I think are really funny. That basically of Oppenheimer, because he was contracted to create this, and then after he was like, "Oh, now I've become death, the destroyer of worlds," but he knew what he was making, so there's just been a lot of funny memes coming out of that. Now that the movie's coming out, but the movie looks really good, memes aside, and they showed some footage of it at CinemaCon, um, and the first trailer actually they announced is going to be coming out with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So we're gonna see. Um, well, they have shown teasers, but I guess the first real trailer is coming out alongside Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I'll be really excited to see that. I usually get to the theater because they show like 15, 20 minutes of trailers. At least if you go to AMC. I don't know about other theaters, but they usually at AMC's they show like 15 to 20 minutes worth of trailers before they start the movie. And then after the trailers, they do that stupid, you know, because we make movies better AMC thing. So basically you're sitting there for 20 to 25 minutes waiting for the movie to start. And then, the ice in your drink is melting, your popcorn's getting dry and cold. So I usually show up like 15 minutes after the time when the movie starts, because even then you're still sitting for another 10 minutes, but it gives you some time to get the concessions and sit and whatnot. But I'm probably gonna get to the Guardians of the Galaxy screening earlier, just so I can see that Oppenheimer trailer. But yeah, and another thing is they usually show a lot of these trailers. They'll come out on YouTube anyway, and anybody that's in the movies, they're watching the trailers on YouTube. When they come out, so there's no reason to be sitting in the theater for 20 minutes watching all these trailers anymore now that YouTube exists. But I guess before YouTube, it was really fun to go to the theaters and see all the new movie trailers. But now that we got YouTube, they release all the trailers online. So I really wish they wouldn't play 20 minutes worth of trailers. Play like two or three of the bigger ones, and then let's get to the movie. But that little rant aside, the Oppenheimer trailer is gonna be coming out before Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So and again, that movie's coming out July 21st. Also, Jack Black came out at CinemaCon for the Universal panel because a new Kung Fu Panda movie is in the works. And so they didn't have any footage of the movie yet because they're just starting to film it, I guess. But Jack Black, he came out and basically he came out in a little panda suit thing, apparently. And he did a little one man act of the basic story or the basic plot of the movie, which a lot of people said was really funny. Jack Black, he was in the recent Super Mario Bros. Movie, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, the that one's coming out in spring of 2024. So not this year, but next year. New Kung Fu Panda movie for all the Kung Fu Panda fans. I watched the first two, I think. I don't think I saw the last one, the third one. But the first one's really good and the second one was okay. But yeah, new Kung Fu Panda movie coming out next year. And then also the final chapters for the Fast and Furious franchise, which is 10 and 11, or X and XI. I don't know if they're calling it Fast X or Fast 10. They haven't really said yet. But obviously the X is Roman numeral for 10. But I think that they might actually be calling it X. I don't know. But Vin Diesel, he came out at the panel and gave some information on that. And the new one is coming out May 19th, obviously, which is actually here in a couple of weeks. I didn't realize it was that soon. May 19th. And then the last one, which is going to be the last Fast and Furious movie, Fast 11, is coming out in 2025. So we got some more information on the Fast and the Furious franchise. Um, Also, the Exorcist, the new Exorcist movie, they revealed that at CinemaCon, and the title, The Exorcist Believer, and that is coming out October 13th. And then also Wicked, which is going to be an adaptation of obviously the Broadway musical. This one's going to be starring Ariana Grande, and that one's it's going to be coming out in 2024, November 27th. So they got the first official first look of that at CinemaCon. They also got a new look at The Fall Guy, which is a movie about a stunt performer, and that's coming out in 2024 as well. A lot of these Universal ones are coming out in 2024, so not a lot from them for this year. One of them that probably one of the ones I'm most excited for from Universal is Strays, which is if you haven't seen it, go watch the trailer for it on YouTube. It's hilarious. I forget which movie I was at that I saw the trailer. I didn't know anything about this movie, but I saw that was one of the good reasons about trailers. I saw it at the theater one of the times I got there a little bit earlier, and wow, the trailer is really funny. It's basically a bunch of dogs that are strays, and it kind of sounds stupid. It's kind of like All Dogs Go to Heaven, but the R-rated version of it. But it's the trailer is really funny. You just have to watch it. I can't really describe it, but it's really funny. That's coming out June 9th, so they got an extended look at that. They also got an look at Illumination's new movie Migration, which is starring Kamal Nanjiani, Elizabeth Banks, Keegan Michael Key, Aquafina, and a bunch of others. And I haven't heard much about that movie. I don't know what it's about. Apparently, it's about a group of ducks who are split between leaving their home and exploring the world, where they stay safe and sound. So, yeah, I haven't really seen much about that movie, but apparently it's coming out in December, the 22nd. So that's interesting. I gotta see if there's a trailer or any more information on that one. But they also um, showed Ruby Gilman, Teenage Kraken from DreamWorks. They got a sneak peek of that, which is coming out June 30th. Trolls Band Together is getting a that new Trolls movie, which is releasing November 17th. They showed some of that, which obviously is starring Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake. A lot of people are big fans of the Trolls movie. I never got into them, but the music is good. Wes Anderson's movie Asteroid City got its first look at CinemaCon. That one's released on June 16th. Also, The Holdovers by Alexander Payne with Paul Giamatti. That one's coming out November 10th. They got a look at that. Drive Away Dolls by Ethan Cohen got a trailer that released at CinemaCon. That one's coming out September 22nd. The new My Big Fat Greek Wedding movie, which is the third one, got a trailer. That one's coming out September 8th. Also, Megan Part 2, they announced it's coming out in 2025, which the first Megan was actually really fun. I had a good time watching that. The sequel to The Black Phone released, which sorry, not released, it was teased. And then Robert Edgar's Nosferatu movie, they announced that that's in development. And then Sean Taylor Johnson's Back to Black, they announced that that has wrapped filming. So a lot of stuff from Universal. I think the most one of the one I'm most excited for, obviously, is Oppenheimer. Kung Fu Panda is exciting, but that's not till next year, 2024. A lot of their big things are in 2024, and then obviously the Strays movie, which looks really funny. That one's coming out in June. I'm really excited for that one. But let me know down in the comments below what y'all are most excited for from Universal, and what you're looking forward to seeing from them this upcoming year, although a lot of their good stuff is coming out in 2024. So let me know what y'all are looking forward to for this year and 2024 from Universal. Up next, we got Paramount Pictures. Their panel, they showed us or not us, I keep saying us, they showed the people at CinemaCon a extended look at the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, which is created by Seth Rogen. He's kind of on a tear. He was in Invincible. He's also a producer on that. He's a producer on The Boys. He was in the last Super Mario Brothers movie as Donkey Kong, which I'm sure they'll spin off into a Donkey Kong movie, because Diddy was in the movie and all the Kong. So they're 100% making a Donkey Kong movie, so we're gonna get more of him in that. So he's kind of on a tear right now, and he's making a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. They showed some extended footage from the movie, and if you haven't seen the trailer, this one's not a lot like the past movies. They're actually going to be a lot more like teenagers because they are called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. A lot of people have said it kind of looks kiddie, but I mean they're teenagers. They've never really felt like teenagers to me before. Before in the other movies, so this one's actually gonna be, they're gonna be feeling like their name, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then they showed the new movie, Superfly, or the new villain, sorry, Superfly, played by Ice T. So that's interesting. That one's releasing October 4th. Um, and also Transformers 1, which is going to be a new Transformers animated movie, which is the first Transformers animated movie in over 40 years. So that's it. That's going to be interesting. That one is with going to be starring Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime and Brian Tyree Henry as Megatron. Keegan Michael Key is also going to be playing Bumblebee, and Scarlett Johansson is playing Alita. John Hamm is playing Sentinel Prime, and Lawrence Fishburne is playing Alpha Trion. That one's coming out in July of 2024. Also, another Transformers announcement: Awakening of the Beasts is going to be coming out, and it's going to be a continuation of the Bumblebee movie. So that's going to be interesting. They didn't give a release date, but they just released some info on that one. Also, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, a new trailer with they got 20 minutes worth of footage as well at CinemaCon. Apparently, it was a chase scene that was really funny, really interesting. I wasn't big on the Mission Impossible movies, but I saw what was it? I don't remember the name of it. It was the one before the last one, so two Mission Impossibles ago, whichever one that one was. I really liked it, which you can tell because I remember the title. No, it's hard to remember the titles for all these, but the one before the last one I really liked, and then I really liked the last one. So yeah, this next one looks really interesting. That's coming out July 12th, and that one got a 20-minute footage screening at CinemaCon, and they also released a trailer. Um, their next announcement was Avatar: The Last Airbender. That is going to be making a movie. Um, and it's going to be following Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Zuko. But they're gonna be adults, so they're young adults. And they showed it's an animated movie, not a live action, so it's not gonna be like that horrible M Night Shyamalan movie. It's gonna be a continuation of the original series, an animated movie, and that one's coming out in 2025. Wish that was coming out next year, but 2025 in October too. So that one's not for a while. But they're gonna be young adults. So they did kind of show the young adult versions of them in the Korra series, which was the follow up. It was 100 years after the first Avatar when Korra was the Avatar. So they did kind of show some flashbacks in that of Aang and the gang, the Aang gang younger. Um, as young adults. So that was really interesting in Korra, and so now we're gonna get to see an expanded version of them in a movie. So that's gonna be interesting. Again, that's not till 2025, unfortunately. But another movie that got some footage shown was Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. This one is apparently very heavy, very serious. It is based on characters that are they're criminals who are seeking the riches of a wealthy estate by any means necessary. Martin Scorsese is a goat. All his movies are always great, and this one looks good as well. It's released on October 6th. They also announced a new Bob Marley movie, Bob Marley One Love, and that one is going to be Ziggy Marley is producing the movie, which is Bob Marley's son, and it's a dramatic biopic. So it's a biopic, but dramatic. So it's kind of loosely based on real events, but not really. Um, they also showed a trailer of that, and that one's coming out in January of 2024. Also, John Krasinski came out and talked about A Quiet Place One Day, which is the next A Quiet Place movie that was coming out in October or March 2024. And it's starring Lupita Nyong'o. That one's going to be really interesting. John Krasinski also talked about his new movie If, which is coming out. Let me see here. Oh, he didn't say when it's coming out, but it is starring Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Fiona Shaw, Steve Carell is in it as well. So a lot of people in it, which is going to be a movie about the character being able to see and communicate with imaginary friends. So Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but an adult, I guess. Also, they Nickelodeon, which as y'all know is part of Paramount, they released some information about the new SpongeBob movie, which is coming out in 2025, and apparently it's going to be the biggest movie in the franchise's history. That's going to be interesting to see. They also released some information about the new Smurfs movie coming out, and Rihanna came out and announced that she's going to be playing Smurfette and also creating a soundtrack for the movie. So we're finally getting a Rihanna album, but it's going to be a Smurfs one. And Chris Miller, who made the Lego Movie, he is going to be along with Lord. He's going to be making that Smurfs movie. Also, there is a new Paw Patrol movie for all of you who have kids out there. I don't have any kids, so I'm not a Paw Patrol guy, but apparently this new Paw Patrol movie is going to be starring Kim Kardashian, so that's going to be interesting. And that she's not really something you associate with kids, but she's going to be in the Paw Patrol movie, and that one's coming out in September, which is interesting because I haven't really heard much about it, and it's coming out you know, just in a few months. But another movie that they talked about was the sequel to Smile, which was kind of the surprise hit horror movie of last year. They're making a sequel to that. It had that viral campaign of they had people go to, sporting events like baseball games and sit behind the home plate and just sit there and smile really weird. And they had a really great marketing campaign for that movie, which I think helped it make the money that it did. They're making a sequel. They're in development for that. And then Gladiator 2 was announced that they're going to be filming soon. So a lot of interesting things from Paramount. I think that the ones I am most excited for are Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, which is coming out in July. I'm really excited for that Avatar sequel, the animated movie, but that one's not coming out till 2025, so that's a long time from now. The Bob Marley movie sounds interesting. Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese's always great. Um, and I'm gonna be interested in the Smurfs movie just simply for Rihanna, just to hear the music. But it might be a surprise. It might be a good movie. And then obviously the Transformers movie. That one's gonna be interesting, coming out here soon as well. But let me know what y'all think about all the new releases and announcements from Paramount Pictures. What are y'all most looking forward to? And you know, are you gonna be circling your calendars for that Avatar: The Last Airbender animated movie that's not coming out till 2025. I know a lot of people are big Avatar fans. Um, but let me know what y'all think about all of the Paramount Pictures releases down in the comments below. And finally, to wrap up the CinemaCon 2023 coverage, there was a panel from Lionsgate, which, as you know, Lionsgate, they're not as big as Universal or Walt Disney or Warner Brothers, so they didn't have a ton at their panel. Their biggest one was the Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is starring Renee Zegler and Tom Blythe, also Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage. And it's set in the early days of the Hunger Games, so it is a prequel, and that one's releasing November 17th. They released a trailer, which you can actually is online, so you can watch that. I haven't watched it yet, but I did see some little short snippet of something from the trailer. I haven't seen the whole one, but it looks interesting. So they showed that some more information. They released some more information on that prequel movie for the Hunger Games, and then also Joyride, which is a comedy coming out from Lionsgate, which actually looks really interesting. It looks really funny. that one is that one they screened the whole movie there at CinemaCon, and apparently it was really great. Got a lot of praise. All around. It was apparently really great, and I actually knew nothing about this movie until when I saw Beau is Afraid. That I saw the trailer for that. I think it was Beau is Afraid, or maybe another movie. But I saw a trailer for it at the movies, and wow, it was a lot of fun. The trailer just had me laughing, cracking up, and I could tell that the movie was going to be good just from the trailer. And so apparently, it is really good. Very heartwarming and funny at the same time. And I thought it was an A24 movie just based on the trailer, but apparently it's Lionsgate. But that was just a light plate from Lionsgate bars. It's just the Hunger Games and Joyride. So that is all of the CinemaCon 2023 announcements, and so a lot of stuff from all of the studios. Showing off what they got coming out here soon. We got a nice stacked couple of years coming up from all the studios. Lots of movies, which is great after coming out of COVID, when they couldn't really film that much. There, 2020 and 2021 were really dry, so 2020 and 2022. So 2023 here, 2024 and 2025 is going to be packed with a lot of awesome movies and streaming as well, but CinemaCon's just for the movies. But there's a lot of cool streaming things coming out as well. The next couple of years. um, but let me know what you're most excited for down in the comments below. What I'm most immediately excited for again is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, going to that IMAX marathon in a couple of days here. So really excited to watch the movie, and watching it directly after the first two, I think, is really going to add to the emotional impact of the movie. I mean, apparently the movie already is. Um, really been wrecking people based on the reviews that I've seen online. Um, but let me know what you're most excited for down in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content, and I will see y'all another day.